why do we want to go viral? I think it's because we want to increase the number of allies that we have for mutually beneficial projects that are authentic to us, right? We want to convert strangers into co-founders, mentors, mentees, besties, colleagues, because those are the satisfying relationships where for every input that we put into the relationship, we get a scaled up output. So I developed this framework because I wanted the founders that I work with and myself to have clear what we're trying to achieve by putting out content. It's not to go viral. It is to attract allies. And to attract allies, you need to be authentic. You need to express who you are, what your values are, and why you're doing what you're doing. And then people come along and they say, hey, me too. I like that. And then maybe you can develop something together. So I developed this framework. Love to hear what you think. Everyone has family and strangers, allies, and enemies. And the goal is to convert, if you want to, if you have the bandwidth, if you have the desire, strangers to allies, from followers and fans and intros to co-founders, and that blue section, which I call the maintenance zone. So you want to invest in growth if you have the time. You want to definitely invest in maintenance because you've already established those relationships and you want to make sure that they don't fall apart. And then there's the danger zone where you have people that are close to you who, for whatever reason, have become antagonistic or opposed to what you are doing. And those you really have to be careful with because you can't get rid of your family members. They're part of your family and they have repercussions throughout your family. And old friends often have a lot of value that you can recuperate, in my experience. And so you want to be careful with Fredos and false friends in the danger zone. And then, of course, strangers online who are haters, you can just block. So I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think about this because virality certainly isn't the goal. It's to build things that are authentic in the world and create unions that can be synergistic to building, in my opinion. Thanks.
Parsa, I hopefully am not butchering your name, enjoyed what you stated, and particularly on the part of the why. Why would you want to go viral? And then taking that a step further, you go viral, then what? What do you do after that? What does it actually do for you? And furthermore, going into how sustainable is it to go viral without authenticity behind it? Without the authenticity behind it, it's more work, it's more labor, it's more performative. When you are in your authenticity and you do go viral, that is seamless. It's flow. It's you being in your identity, whether that's personal or brand. And when you are authentic, when you are radically authentic, people take notice. So many people like to copy those who are in their radical authenticity because it's different. So just some things to consider and think about.
I've personally turned to hacks and templates and tricks for going viral when I feel most insecure about my ideas or my ability to articulate them. And the way that I've strived to overcome that insecurity is by focusing not just on hitting the publish button, getting the ideas down, but in enjoying the process through which I wrestle with the ideas, going for a walk, talking to a friend, battling with the blank page, hitting record over and over again till you get the right cut. Authenticity comes from the effort and the repetitions, for me at least, that are put in to get clear on what the idea even is.
I feel like when one is trying to go viral, there's some kind of conflict on the inside, as opposed to when someone's being authentic and creates a community that way, it's more of just a play-based activity rather than some kind of desire for social status.
It's a very you cannot serve two masters situation, where in trying to focus on virality, you must give up attention towards, authenticity or whatever your primary goal is. And so you see a lot of articles and videos where it's as if the substance of the article is viral substance. It's not, there's no quality behind it. There's no content in it. The entire article can be summarized in a couple of sentences with ease. Whereas, if you draw from a deeper source, often being the authentic you, then you have a lot more content to pull out of, and it becomes suddenly a more dense thing. It becomes a richer thing. And that drives people to stick around longer. Why would I waste my time reading an article that, I can read it for an hour and it tells me one idea in a very poor way, versus if you draw from a deep source, you can convey many ideas very, very well.
I think authenticity is one part of it, but having created a lot of content and scratched my head endlessly trying to figure out the algorithm for how to go viral, I don't think authenticity I think it's necessary, but so many people are their authentic selves posting vlogs on YouTube and nobody is watching them. Why? Because nobody gets any value from them. Why should I click on that? I'm being myself. I can go on there and spill all my deepest, darkest secrets, but why does anyone give a crap about me and my secrets?
More on the topic of going viral versus being authentic. The topic reminded me of a concept that I learned in a book called Why Greatness Cannot Be Planned. The main concept in the book is that greatness, such as significant innovation and exceptional achievement, often arises from unpredictability, freedom, and exploration rather than rigid planning and goal setting. there's no clear-cut set of direction to follow to achieve greatness. What worked for one person won't necessarily work for the next. Going viral happens by sheer luck, whereas building a community of like-minded people is a result of being authentic and staying true to yourself and allowing compound interest to work its magic over a long period of time.
I think this brings into consideration, can one be both viral and authentic? And it reminds me of Steve O. And I think he, in authentically being a person who engages in shock value, and that is his life's purpose, is to be of shock value to the world, is both viral and authentic at the same time, even if it's highly self-destructive.
Yeah, I can't imagine myself trying to cultivate a presence online, for example, that aims for virality. It would just seem to me the whole concept of not being authentic, it would seem to be vacuous to me. You'd feel empty, wouldn't you? Like not trying to be yourself. There's got to be a poverty in that. And the lack of authenticity itself is going to be a punishment. There's no reward there. It reminds me of what many sages, modern day sages especially, but ancient philosophers have also pointed this out as well, is that lying rather than being honest, putting aside the immorality of it all and the fact that it won't get you what you want, it's just going to feel bad. Even if you're a selfish person, you shouldn't lie, because ultimately you are going to feel bad about having lied. And kind of aiming for virality is a form of lying. Not being authentic is a form of dishonesty. And so you're going to have that vacuous sense of that accompanies all sorts of things like that. The difference between pornography and actually having a loving, committed sexual relationship, for example. There's the difference there is all in what the authenticity is about, whether or not you're being honest about what this thing is. And so too with virality versus authenticity online. Yeah, I don't think anyone would say they don't want to become popular in a sense. If they've got something important to say, then of course, I'm forever promoting the ideas of David Deutsch. I think he's underappreciated. And happily, there are some high-profile people that are assisting in that project because these are the most important ideas around. But the aim is not to go viral. That's not the aim of the whole exercise. After all, if you want to do that, then, any young girl with a good enough body is going to go viral. But that has a very short half-life and you're not really contributing anything to the world and civilization, whereas being authentic, as people are talking about here, has the opportunity of going viral as a side effect. It's a happy side effect, but it's not the aim, which is the difference. I love your framework there. I love also the idea that you've got there of blocking the haters. I agree with that. There's just one thing that it's my one little dirty pleasure, if you like. I'm on side with Ricky Gervais here, who tends not to block people. He puts them on mute, and I do the same thing and for the same reason. His reason is he likes the idea of the haters still screaming at him into the ether, and they think they're being heard, but they're not. And I like that idea as well. As soon as I get people who are just hating on me for whatever I happen to put out there, rather than block them, because then they know, they're just on mute. I never get to see them. I never get to hear from them ever again, but they're still yelling at me. They're still angry, and they think that they're being heard. And there's a guilty pleasure I have there of them kind of learning the lesson that they're not getting responded to.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily a bad thing to go viral. But I think making it objective, making it like the end goal, the end all be all goal is like when you do something that's authentic, you could sustain it over a long period of time. Whereas when you're trying to go viral, making it an objective, a hard goal, you're going to base all the feedback of, okay, did this go viral? Did this not? Oh, it didn't, then it must be bad. And that's not sustainable over a long period of time. Whereas if you're authentic, and even if your MO is getting shock value, you're going to be able to do it in a sustainable way and allow compound interest to work.
Brett, you bring up a lot of great considerations here. And one of the most fascinating things is that hate is a form of devotion, and therefore haters are some of the greatest fans of people who go viral or are fame-seeking in this instance. And I don't think a lot of people who have that short-sightedness of wanting to go viral really understand or have any concept of what they get to deal with haters, some of their most devoted fans. I've even had the chance to hang out and speak with someone who has won multiple prestigious awards, who has said that has been the loneliest time in his life. So there is definitely a price to pay with going viral that I don't think a lot of short-sighted will really consider.